The latest Detroit Lions news is making serious noise, and for good reason. First, you've got a quarterback playing like one of the best in the NFL, carrying the franchise on his back, and still getting completely overlooked in the MVP race. Meanwhile, Amon-Ra St. Brown decided to speak up and call out what a lot of people think, but don't dare to say. And as if that wasn't enough, on the other side, Dan Campbell went straight at Adam Schefter, shutting down a bombshell report that accused the team. Let's start with the guy being quietly sabotaged, Jared Goff. Jared Goff is absolutely balling right now, lighting up the league and leading the Detroit Lions to one of the hottest starts in football. 12 touchdowns, only 2 picks, and a team averaging over 34 points a game? That's not just good, it's surgical. And yet, when it comes to the MVP convo, dude's name is barely a whisper. Why? Amon-Ra St. Brown thinks he's got the answer. Goff just ain't flashy enough for the spotlight-hungry media. On his podcast, Amon-Ra didn't hold back. He basically said Goff would have to play flawless football, like straight-up perfect, to even be considered for MVP. Not because he's not elite, but because his style doesn't pop on highlight reels. Goff isn't out here throwing off one leg, juking linebackers, or launching 60-yard bombs on the run. He's living in the pocket, dishing out dimes with precision, and taking care of the rock like a vet. But in today's world, where viral plays matter more than clean box scores, that just doesn't move the needle for voters. And honestly, Amon-Ra's not wrong. Despite torching defenses and leading the league's top offense, Goff's name hasn't been buzzing like Josh Allen or even Baker Mayfield, who's got all the sizzle but not the same stake. And it's not just this season, it's been a pattern. Goff has thrown 79 touchdowns to just 26 picks over the last 3 seasons, while winning 31 games and dropping dimes at a 70% clip. But somehow, people still act like he's just a game manager who hit the lottery in Detroit. Amon-Ra's stance is crystal clear. Keep sleeping on Jared, that's fine. But don't act surprised when he keeps stacking wins and delivering like a top-tier QB. He even said it himself. I think he's one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL right now, if not the top. And the crazy part? He might not be wrong. But unless Goff and the Lions pull off something wild, like a 16-1 season with Goff throwing 50 touchdowns, he's probably not sniffing MVP. That's just how it is. The media loves fireworks, and unless you're blowing minds every Sunday, they're not handing you the crown. Last year proved that. Goff was solid all year, finished with 37 TDs, and still barely cracked the top 5 in MVP votes. Meanwhile, guys like Allen and Lamar with their off-script heroics got all the love. And if you thought that was heavy, buckle up. Dan Campbell just slammed one of the biggest names in the media, and the timing couldn't be more controversial. Dan Campbell ain't buying what Adam Schefter's selling, and he let everyone know it, loud and clear. This week, Schefter dropped a bomb on Monday Night Countdown, claiming the Detroit Lions had gone to the NFL to complain about how teams are blocking Aiden Hutchinson. But when reporters brought that up to Campbell, the Lions head coach didn't flinch. His response? That's bogus. That's a bogus report. I don't know where that came from. Nobody from here ever did that. Now that's a classic Campbell mic drop. Schefter had reported that Detroit had asked the league to keep an eye on Hutchinson's blockers, suggesting some of those hits were crossing the line, maybe borderline illegal stuff like cut blocks. Totally fair if you're trying to protect one of the most dominant pass rushers in the game, especially a guy who had his season cut short in 2024. But Campbell wasn't having it. He flat out denied it came from the team and doubled down on the old school football mindset. The game's physical, that's how it is, deal with it. So what's really going on here? Did Schefter get bad info? Or is Campbell just doing what he does best, controlling the narrative and keeping his team laser focused? Maybe the Lions did flag some stuff quietly, but Campbell wasn't about to let that go public. Why? Because whining to the league doesn't exactly fit the grit and grind identity he's been building in Detroit. This is a coach who talks about biting kneecaps and dragging opponents into deep waters. Filing formal complaints? That doesn't exactly scream tough guy football. Publicly, Campbell wants his team to be seen as the ones dishing out the hits, not the ones crying foul. Still, you can't blame anyone for wanting to protect Hutchinson. The guy is the heartbeat of that defense, and offenses are throwing the kitchen sink at him every week. Whether Campbell likes it or not, this storyline just put a giant spotlight on how Hutchinson gets treated on the field. And with a primetime Sunday night football clash against the Chiefs on deck, yeah, you better believe every block on 97 is going to be dissected from every angle. At the end of the day, we've got two big dogs barking, Schefter with his sources and Campbell with his fists-up mentality. Maybe there's truth on both sides, maybe it's all smoke. But one thing's for sure, Dan Campbell doesn't want his team seen as one that complains. They fight, they scrap, and they handle their business the hard way, between the lines. While Goff gets ignored despite playing lights-out football, Campbell proves he won't let outside narratives mess with his locker room. So, who's actually right in all this? Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next chapter in the Lions saga.